The power of consistency over intensity. So many people are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect wave of motivation, the perfect storm of opportunity, the perfect alignment of circumstances. They believe that if they can just hit it hard enough, just go all in for a few days or a week, they'll somehow leapfrog into success. But let me ask you something real. How many times have you sprinted at your goals with passion and power only to burn out, fall off, and end up exactly where you started? Intensity gets you going, but consistency keeps you growing. Anyone can show up when they're excited. Anyone can give everything they've got for a few days, but it's not the one who runs fast at the beginning that wins the race. It's the one who refuses to stop moving forward. That's the secret no one wants to hear. Success doesn't come from what you do once in a while. It comes from what you do every single day, especially on the days when you don't feel like it. It's what you do in the ordinary, the boring, the unnoticed moments that builds the extraordinary life. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a person who wants to get in shape. They hit the gym for 5 hours on a Sunday. They push themselves to exhaustion. They post about it. They feel proud. And for a moment, they feel like they've done something great. But then Monday comes and they skip. Tuesday, excuses. Wednesday, I'll try again next week. Nothing changes. Now picture someone else, someone who works out just 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. They don't post about it. They're not loud, but they're consistent. And in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, you won't even recognize them. This is not about fitness. This is about everything. It's about the book you've been meaning to write, the business idea you've been sitting on, the personal growth you crave. It's about your spiritual life, your mental health, your relationships, your finances, your vision, your voice, your power. You don't need 5 hours of intensity once a month. You need 1 hour of intention every day. And that's where consistency becomes a superpower, because consistency isn't sexy. It's not dramatic. It doesn't come with fireworks. It looks like small steps. It looks like showing up tired. It looks like turning off distractions. It looks like saying no to quick pleasure and yes to slow progress. But over time, consistency becomes unstoppable, because each day you do something, even if it's just a little, you're building, you're stacking, you're compounding. Let's talk about compound effect. You won't see results after 1 hour. You won't feel like a different person after 1 week. But that's the trap most people fall into. They want instant gratification. They want the reward before the routine. But those who stay consistent long enough will always outrun those who started intense and disappeared. Your small efforts done daily will begin to snowball. You'll gain momentum. Your habits will shape your identity. And soon, the discipline that once felt hard will become part of who you are. Think about the power in that. Not who you pretend to be, not who you talk about becoming, but who you become through quiet, committed, consistent action. Consistency builds trust with yourself. That matters. Every time you show up for yourself, you're sending a signal to your mind, your heart, your spirit. I am reliable. I am disciplined. I finish what I start. And that trust, it turns into confidence. It turns into belief. It turns into a life that no longer depends on motivation, because now you're being driven by mission. You can't control how fast success comes, but you can control how consistently you pursue it. 1 hour a day done faithfully is more powerful than 10 hours of hype that fades, because at the end of the day, intensity fades, emotions change, but discipline built through consistency that lasts, that transforms, that rewrites your story from the inside out. 1 hour of purpose breaks the chains of mediocrity. There is something inside you that knows you weren't born to be average. You weren't created to blend in, to coast, or to merely exist. But the truth is, most people are trapped in a cycle of mediocrity, not because they lack talent, not because they lack desire, but because they lack intention with their time. It doesn't take a dramatic change to break free. It doesn't require a complete overhaul of your life overnight. It takes something much smaller, but far more powerful. It takes 1 hour of purpose every single day. You see, mediocrity isn't always loud. It doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes mediocrity disguises itself as comfort, as routine, as just getting by. It wraps itself in a schedule that's full of motion but empty of progress. People wake up, go to work, come home, scroll, eat, sleep, then repeat. Not because they're lazy, but because they're disconnected from purpose. Their days are filled, but their souls are starving. Their calendar is busy, but their calling is buried. And that's where this hour comes in. 1 hour, just 60 minutes, where you break the pattern. 1 hour where you turn off the noise and turn inward, where you stop surviving and start building. That hour becomes a line in the sand, a quiet rebellion against the life you've been settling for. This hour isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. 1 hour of purpose can wake you up from the numbness of routine. It reminds you that you are the author of your story, not just a character in someone else's. It reminds you that you have something to give, something to build, something to say, something to change. Whether it's writing the book that's been inside you for years, learning a new skill that positions you for greater impact, training your body so your energy can match your ambition, praying for clarity, or working on your side hustle that could one day become your main thing. That hour breaks chains. It breaks the chain of self-doubt. It breaks the chain of wasted time. It breaks the chain of waiting for someone else to give you permission. And when you do it daily, your mindset begins to shift. You stop asking, what if I fail? And you start asking, what if I don't try? You stop seeing yourself as a prisoner of your past, and you start seeing yourself as a creator of your future. Purpose does that. It breathes fire into your bones. It gives meaning to your minutes. It pushes you beyond limits you didn't even know were lies. And the beautiful thing about purpose is this: it doesn't require perfection. It only requires presence. You don't have to know everything before you begin. You just have to begin. 1 hour a day. That's all it takes to start, to fight back, to dig your way out of the hole of maybe someday and start walking toward, I'm doing it now. Because every time you choose to honor that hour, you're declaring, I refuse to let my life be a collection of missed chances and forgotten dreams. Look around you. The world is full of people who gave up on purpose because they got tired, distracted, or discouraged, but that can't be you. Not anymore. Not when you know what's at stake. Your future is waiting on the other side of your discipline. And it all starts with one sacred hour. An hour where you silence the noise, shut the door, and do the work that calls your name when no one else can hear it. Because purpose doesn't shout, it whispers. But when you make space for it every day, that whisper will turn into a roar, the law of accumulation. Change never happens all at once. It doesn't crash into your life like a wave and carry you away to some magical destination. No, real change, lasting change, life-altering transformation. It builds slowly, silently, steadily. And the engine behind that change is what we call the law of accumulation. The law of accumulation is simple. Small efforts done consistently over time produce massive results, and not just any kind of effort. Intentional, purpose-driven, focused effort, even if it's just 1 hour a day. That single hour might feel small in the moment, but it carries a weight far greater than you realize, because you're not just investing time, you're planting seeds, and with every hour, you're watering them. You're cultivating something powerful that the world can't yet see, but you can feel it taking root inside you. One brick doesn't build a house, one drop doesn't fill a well, one heartbeat doesn't keep you alive, but each one, repeated again and again, accumulates into something real, something strong, something unshakable. That's how the law of accumulation works. It's not glamorous, it's not overnight, but it's inevitable when you stay the course. You see, we live in a world obsessed with results. Everyone wants the transformation, but few want the process. People want to skip the middle and go straight from start to success. But the truth, the middle is where the magic happens. It's where you're stretched, tested, grown, refined. And if you give your best to that 1 hour every day without skipping, without rushing, without trying to hack the process, you will wake up one day and find yourself living in the fruit of seeds you planted long ago. That's how legacies are built, not in sudden bursts of brilliance, but in the slow burn of discipline. Imagine what happens if you read 1 book a month. That's 12 a year. In 5 years, you'll have read 60. That's more than most people read in a lifetime. 1 hour of reading a day can do that. 1 hour of writing each morning can become a book. 1 hour of prayer or meditation can transform your spiritual life. 1 hour of learning a new skill, coding, public speaking, a language, can open doors that once felt locked shut. But none of it happens all at once. It's one day, 1 hour, one decision, repeated again and again. The problem is most people quit too early, not because they're weak, but because they don't understand the nature of progress. In the beginning, the changes are invisible. You don't see results. You question yourself. You wonder if it's working. That's when doubt creeps in and distractions start to sound like good ideas. That's when people say, this isn't worth it, and they walk away just before the tipping point. But those who stay faithful, they tap into something extraordinary. They build momentum. They begin to experience the compound effect. And once it kicks in, your growth becomes exponential. It's not just that you've learned a new skill, you've become a new person. You don't just feel better, you operate on a higher frequency. You don't just hope for success, you expect it because your life now reflects the choices you've made over and over again. Think about how freeing that is. You don't need to have all the answers today. You don't need to leap forward in giant strides. You just need to honor the hour, do it today, then again tomorrow, and again the next day. Not perfectly, not obsessively, just faithfully, because every hour compounds. Every hour adds up, and over time, those hours will stack higher than every excuse, every setback, every delay. They become your foundation. They become your preparation. They become your elevation. And one day people will look at your life and say, where did this come from? And you'll know. It came from the law of accumulation. It came from what you built quietly when no one was watching. This hour is sacred, not optional. There is a moment every day that holds more power than the rest. 1 hour, just 60 minutes. But it holds the key to everything you say you want. Growth, purpose, peace, success, alignment, clarity, progress. This hour isn't just part of your day. It is the most important part of your day. And if you're serious about your future, you must treat it with the reverence it deserves. This hour is not casual. It's not flexible. It's not optional. It is sacred. You don't skip sacred things. You don't reschedule what's holy. You don't negotiate with your purpose. And you certainly don't treat your breakthrough like an afterthought. This hour must be protected like your life depends on it, because it does. Not the life you're living right now, but the life you were meant to live. The life buried under distractions, comfort, and delay. That future version of you, the confident, focused, powerful version, depends on what you do in this 1 hour today. But we live in a world that makes it easy to dismiss this hour. You're tired, you're busy, you've got responsibilities pulling you in 10 directions, and at the end of the day, the couch, the screen, the noise all call your name. You tell yourself, just today, I'll skip it today. Then today becomes tomorrow, then a week, then a month, and before you know it, you've drifted far from the place you were called to rise from. This hour is not a luxury. It is a necessity. And if you keep treating it like something you'll get to when you have time, you'll never find the time, because time doesn't appear. It must be carved, fought for, guarded, chosen. Do you know why this hour is sacred? Because in a world that constantly pulls you into chaos, this is the 1 hour where you return to your vision. The 1 hour where you shut out the noise of the world and listen to the whisper of your calling. It's the hour where you realign, where you get honest, where you show up. Not for applause, not for anyone else, but for yourself. And when you show up for yourself consistently, you start walking in a power that no one can give you and no one can take away. You can't build a masterpiece without a foundation, and this hour is your foundation. Not once a week, not once a month, every single day, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. That's where your future is formed, in the discomfort, in the discipline, in the decision to make this time non-negotiable. Don't make the mistake of underestimating the power of 1 hour, because it's not just about what you do in that hour. It's about who you become because of it. That hour trains your mind to focus. It teaches your emotions to obey. It molds your identity. Every time you honor this hour, you tell yourself, I am worthy of growth. I am serious about change. I am no longer a prisoner to distraction. You don't rise by accident, you rise by design, and the blueprint is hidden in what you do consistently when no one is watching. This hour, this sacred space, is where destiny begins to take shape. It's where the average are separated from the uncommon. It's where excuses die and habits are born. It's where dreams stop being abstract and start becoming actionable. If others want to treat their sacred hour like spare change, let them, but not you. You are building something eternal, something real, something powerful. This hour is where your future self is shaped, one disciplined decision at a time. And the more you treat this time with honor, the more your life begins to reflect the weight of that honor. This hour holds the difference between who you are and who you are called to become. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. We all have dreams, big ones, quiet ones, childhood dreams, buried dreams, bold dreams, dreams that keep us awake at night, and dreams we're afraid to even speak out loud because they feel so far away. But the truth is, a dream without discipline is just a fantasy, a wish, an illusion, and you weren't created to live a life of illusion. You were created to build something real, to walk in purpose, to leave a mark. And the only way to get there, the only path from where you are to where you were meant to be, is discipline. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is the builder. Discipline is the price that every dream demands before it becomes a reality. It's not enough to want something. Everyone wants something. It's not enough to talk about your goals. Everyone talks. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the builders, the spectators from the warriors. And let's be honest, discipline isn't glamorous. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good. It rarely gets applause. Most of the time, it looks like saying no when everything in you wants to say yes. It looks like getting up early, staying up late, showing up when no one's watching. It's choosing structure over chaos, growth over comfort, purpose over pleasure. It's doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. That 1 hour a day we've been talking about, it's not powered by motivation. It's powered by discipline, because motivation fades. It's emotional. It's inconsistent. One moment you're fired up, and the next moment you're full of doubt, full of fatigue, full of distractions. But discipline doesn't wait for a feeling. Discipline shows up whether the feeling is there or not. You want to know how serious someone is about their future? Don't listen to their words. Watch their discipline. Watch what they do when they're tired. Watch what they do when no one's watching. Watch how they treat the hour that was meant to change their life. Because discipline is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you choose. You build it like a muscle. You train it. You fail. You get back up and you train it again. And eventually, discipline becomes your standard, your default, your identity. When that shift happens, when you stop relying on mood and start relying on mindset, you begin to feel a new kind of freedom. Not the freedom of doing whatever you want, but the freedom that comes from knowing you're becoming who you were always meant to be. That you're no longer controlled by impulses, cravings, or excuses. You're governed by vision, and that vision is strong enough to carry you through the grind. Think about it. Every great athlete, every successful entrepreneur, every world changer you admire, they didn't get there by accident. They got there because they crossed the bridge of discipline every single day. They didn't just dream it. They worked it, fought for it, bled for it, cried through it, and still showed up again the next day. Your dream is valid, your dream is worthy, but it's also expensive, and the currency is discipline. So what are you willing to pay? Are you willing to make sacrifices? Are you willing to say no to things that steal your time, your focus, your energy? Are you willing to do what most won't so you can live the life most never will? Because that's what it takes. Discipline is never about punishment. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your daily actions are in agreement with your long-term vision. It's about building habits that serve your future instead of feeding your past. It's not easy, but it's always worth it. Every time you show up, every time you stay the course, every time you refuse to quit, you are laying down one more stone on the bridge that connects where you are to where your destiny is waiting. Your future isn't something that magically appears one day. It's something you shape hour by hour, decision by decision, moment by moment. And out of all the hours in your day, there is one that holds the most power. The hour you dedicate to growth, to purpose, to building your vision. That hour must be protected with everything you've got, because how you treat that hour reveals how seriously you take your future. And here's the hard truth. Distractions are not just inconveniences. They are thieves. They don't come in with alarms or warning signs. They slip in quietly. They disguise themselves as urgent tasks, endless scrolling, meaningless conversations, temporary pleasures. And before you realize it, your one sacred hour, the hour that could have changed everything, is gone, wasted, given away to something that added no value, no strength, no direction to your life. You can't afford that anymore, not now. Not when your purpose is calling, not when your dream is waiting, not when your future self is depending on you to wake up and take responsibility for the time you've been given. Because let's be real, life is full of noise. The world is designed to keep you distracted. Notifications, social media, news, drama, endless to-do lists, everyone and everything pulling at your attention. But none of those things will build your vision. None of them will create legacy. None of them will heal your heart, grow your mind, elevate your life. You've got to choose what matters most. You've got to fight for your hour like your life depends on it, because it does. Protecting this hour isn't just about time management, it's about identity management. When you protect your hour, you're protecting the person you are becoming. You're guarding the space where transformation takes root. That 1 hour can give you more clarity than a full day of noise. It can breathe life back into your tired soul. It can shift your entire mindset, but only if you guard it. Set boundaries. Turn off the phone, close the door. Tell the world this time is not for you. And if people don't understand, let them be confused. If others get offended, let them. You are not responsible for their comfort. You are responsible for your calling. And sometimes protecting your future means disappointing others today. That's a cost you must be willing to pay. You're not here to entertain everyone. You are here to evolve. And evolution requires sacred space, space to think, to create, to reflect, to plan, to work in silence. That kind of space doesn't just happen. You have to build it, guard it, defend it like your dream depends on it, because it absolutely does. There will always be something more urgent than your 1 hour, a task, a message, a request. But you must learn the difference between urgent and important. Urgent things scream, important things whisper, and your purpose will never shout over the noise. It waits in the quiet. It waits in that hour. And if you don't protect that hour, you may miss what it's trying to give you. Discipline gets you to the door, but protection keeps it locked when the world tries to barge in. And make no mistake, your consistency, your focus, your breakthroughs are a threat to mediocrity. The moment you start honoring your time, everything that once kept you bound will try to claw its way back in. Old habits, doubts, distractions dressed up as opportunities. But if you've already decided that this hour is non-negotiable, you'll meet those intrusions with one word: no. No, I'm not available. No, I'm not breaking my routine. No, I'm not compromising my future for a moment of convenience, because I've come too far. I've wasted enough time. And I refuse to give up this sacred space for anyone or anything. What you do in secret will show in public. There is a sacred principle that governs the journey of every person who has ever risen from obscurity to greatness. It is quiet. It is unseen. It does not come with applause, attention, or validation. And yet, it is the very foundation of every public victory, every breakthrough moment, every transformation. The principle is simple but undeniable. What you do in secret will show in public. In a world obsessed with visibility, the real work is still done in the invisible. We live in a time where people crave recognition. They want instant results and public applause. They want the outcome without the process. But greatness is never built in the spotlight. Greatness is built in the shadows, in the quiet hours, in the moments when no one is watching, no one is clapping, and no one even knows your name. That's where you become who you were meant to be. That 1 hour a day, that's your secret place. That's where your roots grow deep. That's where character is forged, where habits are built, where vision is sharpened. You don't see the results immediately. You don't get likes or shares or views. But what you're building there, you're building for eternity. And in time, it will become impossible to hide. The world will see the strength in your voice, but it came from hours of speaking into silence. The world will admire your confidence, but they won't see the nights you cried while choosing not to quit. The world will notice your discipline, but they'll never know the thousands of small choices you made when no one else cared. That's what the secret hour is about. It's not about performance, it's about preparation. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. And over time, what you cultivate in the dark will break through the surface and bloom in the light. But you must be faithful when it's not glamorous. You must be consistent when it's inconvenient. You must believe in the vision before anyone else can see it. Think of the seed underground. No one sees it. No one praises it. It doesn't look like anything is happening. But deep beneath the surface, it's pushing, expanding, stretching, growing. And one day, it breaks through the soil, and everyone notices. But that breakthrough wasn't magic. It was the result of silent growth. That's your life. That's your calling. That's your 1 hour a day, invisible now, unstoppable later. If you skip the secret place, you rob your future of its strength, because public moments will test you. The spotlight will expose you. Pressure will reveal what preparation built. And if your foundation isn't solid, if your habits weren't developed in private, you will crumble where you were meant to stand. Your greatness isn't found in how loud you are, it's in how faithful you are. Are you willing to keep showing up when no one is clapping? Are you willing to wake up early when no one is watching? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort for calling, distraction for discipline, and recognition for results? Let others chase attention. Let others perform, but not you. You're building something real, and real things don't need to be announced. They reveal themselves in time. There's a deep integrity in silent progress. When you don't need validation, when your reward is not in who sees you, but in who you become. Every repetition, every word, every hour compounds in secret. And one day, without forcing it, without faking it, without begging for attention, your life will speak. And when it does, it will speak powerfully.